2020 has been a crazy year with COVID happening, a lot of people losing their jobs, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of businesses shutting down. But, there's been a couple good things. There's been, the Nintendo Switch had a decent year in 2020. The new next generation consoles came out, the new Xbox and the PS5. And even though everything was canceled, the Game Awards are still coming up. So to cap off the year, I want to go over Metacritic's top 5 games on Nintendo Switch and talk a little bit about them, and see if I think that they deserve those ratings that they're getting, the user ratings and the critic scores. So without further ado, let's go over the list. Coming in at an 88 on Metacritic is A Short Hike, and this game flew under a lot of people's radars. The critics didn't really review it as much as they should have, and it's honestly a pretty cool game. It's a pretty short game. I don't know if it should be ranked number 5 on Metacritic, and that's also based because so many critics didn't review it. As you see here, only 15 critics reviewed it. Now, I do think this is one of my favorite indie games of the year. It's quite short. It's probably the only problem with it, but it's, there's no fat to it. There's no extra content that shouldn't be there. The game is what it is, and it's great for that. The game is also at a pretty low price. It doesn't cost very much for the game, so it's a good option if you're not looking to spend a lot of money. Now, the next one is definitely deserving of the number 4 spot. I honestly think it should be rated higher. It's one of my favorite games that came out this year, for sure. It's Xenoblade Chronicles, the remake. And it's pretty crazy. It got an 89, which is high based on 92 critic reviews. And if you haven't played the original, it's a great game. There's not much more I could say about it that you probably don't know. The original game came out 10 years ago, but they made a lot of quality of life changes and changed the graphics to make it look a lot better. And the game is visually amazing. It's a great game on handheld or docked. It had quite an innovative battle system, and it's hard to believe that this game came out in 2012. Like, that's a long time, and it still holds up really well. And if you haven't played it, I really suggest getting this game. All right, number 3 coming up on the list with a 90 Metascore, 110 critic reviews, is Animal Crossing New Horizons. Now, I don't think I need to say much about this game. It's pretty popular. It's one of the top-selling games for the Switch in general, not just of this year. It is a top-selling game of this year, and everyone loves it. It came out right when the COVID hit, and it's been huge. Now, the user score hasn't been great with a 5.5, and that's because it is a simulation game. It could be considered casual. Some people think it's casual. Some people are getting pretty serious with it, but hardcore gamers are not necessarily all agreeing that it's a great game. Now, do I think it ranks number 3rd as the top game of the year? I think, honestly, it should be number 1, just how much it sold and what it did, and it's Nintendo's big IP that came out this year. And I think number 3 is good. We have a couple indie games beating it. I think it definitely deserves a 90 score and not the user score of 5.5. Now, coming in at a strong number 2 is actually a Microsoft IP. And the fact that it came to the Switch this year is pretty exciting. It's funny seeing the Microsoft Game Studios logo. But Ori and the Will of the Wisps came in at number 2. And with a 93. But again, it's an indie game, so it only has 21 critic reviews. But based on 174 user scores, it came in at a strong 8.9. Now, I gotta agree that it's a great game. It's a sequel to the original one, which was also on the Switch. And I'm pretty stoked about it being on the Switch. I haven't played it yet, but on the Xbox, it does run on 120 frames per second on the new Xbox, which is pretty cool, and I would like to see that. But with the Switch version, obviously, it's portable, and it's just cool that Microsoft put one of their IPs again on the Switch. It's a great, challenging 2D platformer, and the visuals are amazing too, but it will test your might. It's a very hard game, But number 2 on the list, coming in a strong number 1, is Hades. And it's from the developer Supergiant Games. They've made games like Bastion and Transistor and Pyre. It's a roguelike dungeon crawler based on Greek mythology. And the critics are loving it. It's 93 on the critic reviews. Of course, only 43 critic reviews, but still really, really good. It's a Metacritic must play. And the user scores, based on 293 ratings, are rating it at 8.9. Now, this is on multiple consoles, but people are really loving this game, and it's definitely recommended. And top game of 2020, it's a tough one, but I'll give it up to the developers here. They did a great job, and I love their work. I loved Bastion and Transistor, both really good games. That wraps it up for the 2020's best games on Metacritic. If you guys like this video, please like and subscribe. If you don't agree with this list, please let me know in the comments what you guys think the top 5 games should be. And we will see you guys next time.